Today on Real Life and Real Estate, it's all about relationships, people. Well, hey there, and welcome to Real Life and Real Estate. I'm Mark Peebles, here to help you live your best life and achieve ultimate success. Today on the show, we're going to talk a little bit about relationships. But before I get there, I want to talk to you about a special relationship that I have, and that is with Advantage Home Warranty. I love Advantage Home Warranty, and I've mentioned many times on this show that they are my favorite home warranty in the business. The service is amazing. Every time I've had an issue, and let me tell you, we've had issues with our house built in the mid-90s. They're so quick to respond, and we've always been able to get the repairs before it turns into something more major. The other thing I like is that Advantage Home Warranty also has Advantage Plumbing and HVAC, and guess what? Not only do they help provide great service for the home warranty company, but they also provide great service outside of the home warranty company. So I've used Advantage Plumbing and HVAC for a lot of issues that I've had with listings and other properties, so on and so forth. So I love Advantage Home Warranty. You should learn more about it. I carry one on my own home, and you'll learn more at AdvantageHW.com for Advantage Home Warranty. Okay, so I want to talk about relationships today. Now, my company, NavX Realty, we have a mission statement that is to build relationships that move people. Years ago, one of the big industry companies came out and they said, we're no longer a real estate company, we are now a technology company. And at that time, it felt kind of icky to me. Look, there are people out there that know what company I'm talking about. And let me tell you, I have a tremendous amount of respect for the leadership of that company and for the company overall. I know a lot of local people at that company, and they're awesome, okay? So this is not an attack on them, but I just felt icky about it because real estate, this is a hands-on business. It's a eyeball-to-eyeball, belly-to-belly business. And people want to work with people that they know, like, and trust. And so I've always felt like my company, and you make your own decisions, but my company, and truly, if you want to be successful in the industry, your business has to be about relationships. And so that is what we have chosen to be, is a relationship company. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about relationships today. And I believe everyone needs to have solid relationships. This isn't just about business. I talk about the 5 core relationships in your life, and that is God, your family, clients, counterparts, and community. Now, they're not always going to be in that order, but the first 2, you've got to get right. And so let's talk a little bit about each one of these. I want to give you some examples. I believe that the most important relationship that you have in your life is your relationship with God. You need to be a spiritually healthy person. And to be spiritually healthy, you need to be connected with your Creator. And so I want to give you some examples of things that you can be doing to improve your relationships with God. First of all do you have a spiritual health time, a quiet time, a time where you are reading? I read the Bible, so where you are reading the Bible and spending time in prayer. That is one very important way that you build your relationship with God. That you get to know God, that you get to know that He loves you, that He cares for you. And that, I believe that everything in the Bible, in fact, I always have my Bible with me, but here's my Bible, and I spend time in this. And do you know that every life situation is covered here in this book? It's really amazing. If you've never given it a chance, I encourage you, read the Bible. Start with like John or Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The Gospels will tell you about Jesus. So I highly recommend spending time in the Bible, and that's how you get to know God. And then in prayer, you're building relationship with God. Prayer is like a conversation that you're having with God. So throughout my day, I'll say, Lord, help me with this, or Lord, this is on my mind today, or Lord, what should I do about this? Just talking to God. And you know what? Then I'll sit quiet and things will begin to come to me. The Bible does talk about this still small voice that you'll hear. It's like something deep inside your spirit. And so it's hard to describe, but listen, if you start spending time quietly talking to God in prayer, he does talk back. And so I encourage you to spend time in prayer, spend time in the Bible. But then another way that you can improve and grow in your relationship with God is to find a great faith community. Are you tied into a local church? Are you in a local Bible study? I have a discipleship group. In fact, every Wednesday morning, I meet my discipleship group. I've got 4 younger guys that I meet with, and we study the Bible together. We encourage each other. We lift each other up. In fact, Natalie, you know one of the guys in my group, don't you?
I do know him personally.
Yeah.
My husband, Joey.
That's right. No, actually, I love it. I look forward to it
He loves it too.
every week.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the other thing. You and I have gone to church together for the last several years. Oh, and by the way, Sarah is now producing in the room with us. You won't see her on camera. You won't see her on camera. Well, maybe you'll see her on camera.
She said, I don't want to do it today.
Look, there she is. There she is. No, actually, we've been preparing for Natalie to go on maternity leave soon. And so Sarah is coming in, and she's been pretty awesome so far. Let's just be real about it.
Let's be honest. She might be better than me, but don't take my job. I'm just kidding.
No, there's room for both of you.
There's room for both of us.
No, but awesome thing, we all go to church together. So, but we're part of a really vibrant and strong faith community, right, in our church. And so if you want to grow in your relationship with God, get around people that love God and that will love you, right? Great way to grow in a relationship with God. So I believe that number one, your biggest priority is a relationship with God, because if you're healthy there, you'll be healthier in every other aspect of your life. Now, the next area is your family. If you're married, your spouse is your most important relationship. A lot of times, we start to have kids, and the kids quickly become priority, and we start forgetting about our spouse, or we're busy at work and we forget about our spouse. These are the things that happen. But your first, most important priority of a relationship in your family is with your spouse. You need to have a strong connection. So a good way to improve that connection is date your spouse. We all talk about dating before we get married or while we're engaged, but people forget to date when they're married. I love going on dates with my wife, and sometimes we just catch up and talk about things. Other times we go do something fun together, but everything we do is building stronger connection, stronger relationship between each other. And that is so important. Get time away from your kids. That has to be a priority. In fact, I talked about it in the last episode. Let me say it again. Put it on your calendar and prioritize it. You know what? One of my favorite things with family, in improving relationships with my family, with my kids, was daddy-daughter date nights. Since we're talking about dating, I love spending that one-on-one time, with my kids. My son, we would go on father-son adventures. We've been out west together, doing hiking and doing all kinds of cool stuff. And then we'll go to games together. He loves sports. So we'll go and watch a football game together, Ohio State or the Cincinnati Bengals, and, watch them lose again. Sorry. A little bit of bitterness coming out in me during this football season. But no, I love spending that time with my son. And it's really strengthened our relationship over the years, just being together. My favorite, though, is my youngest daughter, who was on the podcast. If you didn't watch the podcast or watch the YouTube video a couple weeks ago, go back and watch that. My 15-year-old daughter, is amazing. I don't want to take away from this, though, that my 18-year-old daughter is unbelievably amazing as well. I love them both amazingly. I will have my 18-year-old on at some point. She's in college off in Tennessee. But my 15-year-old daughter, I coach her basketball team. And some of my favorite times that we have together are the ride to and from basketball. I'll pick her up, we'll ride there, and we'll talk and we'll connect and have fun. And then on the way home, we're doing that same thing. At basketball practice, usually I'm making her run laps. But I love that time with her. And so she's a freshman this year. I coach the high school basketball team at her school. And I've made the decision that for the next 4 years, I'm going to coach my daughter, because I've got 4 years left with her before she is out of the house, may never live with us again. And I want to put high value on that time and strengthen that relationship. So spend time with your family. Dedicate time to your family, whatever it needs to be. Dedicate time to your family. So number one, God. Number two, family. Then we have clients, our counterparts, and our community. When it comes to these areas of relationship, I think these can be reordered depending on the season in life that you're in. But as busy real estate agents, all of us have clients. And sometimes we go through seasons where we have very high demand clients. The other thing is, once a client has closed on the sale of their home or the purchase of their next home, they're still a client. They will be your client forever. One of the most embarrassing statistics in the industry is that like 80% of agents can't remember, or 80% of buyers can't remember 5 years from now who their agent was that sold them the house. That is so embarrassing. That means that you have not maintained, or we have not as an industry maintained relationships with our clients. And so client relationships are incredibly important. One of my favorite things is coming up here. Every year in December, I do movies with Santa. And so I invite all of my past clients and friends and referral sources to come out to the movies. We do a Saturday and a Sunday in December, and we've got the best Santa and Mrs. Claus in the world. And my clients come out to this every year. And usually there's a few hundred people that come over those couple of days. We've had as many as 700 people come over the couple of days that we do this. We do it, again, Saturday and Sunday. And I love seeing my clients every year. In fact, I've had so many of my clients over the years tell me that this has become a family tradition to them. This is the 8th year that we will have done it. And it's become a family tradition to them. And I just love it. It's heartwarming to me. But you know what else it does? It keeps me in relationship with my clients. I'm going to see them at least this once a year. And so I encourage you, find ways to build relationships with your clients, and don't treat a client as a past client ever. Always treat them as a client. Always be ready to serve them. Always be ready to check in on them and say, hey, I was just thinking of you. Doesn't have to be real estate related, but just care for them, and they'll be your clients for life. But that's a very important relationship. Our counterparts in the business, we all have counterparts. You might be on a team and you've got teammates that you work with, or you've got counterparts in your company. So at NavX Realty, where I own NavX Realty, we have an agent care team. And so you're an agent, you probably have a team of people that care for you, that walk with you through the business, that keep you compliant on your files, right? Those relationships are very, very important, because if you care for those relationships when you truly need something, if you've been kind and generous with those people, they're always going to be kind and generous back to you. And sometimes when you've been mean, maybe you need to apologize, but they're probably still going to be kind and generous back to you. And so treat your counterparts with great respect. Other counterparts that we have in the real estate business are the lenders we work with, the title companies we work with, the contractors that we work with. You know, I've always said, as a real estate agent, we are in the very best position to refer people, right? Because we're the ones that our clients call and they're like, hey, who can I get to remodel my kitchen? Well, guess what? We are in that best position for referral. But how do you deal with those counterparts in the business? And how do you care for them? Have you ever thought maybe of throwing like a vendor appreciation breakfast, or calling your vendors and just saying, hey, I just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you taking care of Mr. and Mrs. Jones for me. That really meant a lot to me. And the fact that you got out there so fast, that was awesome. Thank you so much. They don't get that from a lot of other people, but you can do that, right? And that's caring for your counterparts. And guess what? It builds that relationship and solidifies that relationship. And then the last one is, what's your relationship to your community? Now, there's a number of different ways that you can relate to your community. My suggestion is, going back to that whole faith piece in the beginning and your relationship with God, get involved in a church. I think that is one of the best places to build great, solid, long-term relationships. And another thing that is an opportunity within a church is opportunities to serve. And so find a place where you can go, where you can serve. Yes, you're getting fed by that. You're drawing energy from that, but then you can also be sowing and feeding into other people's lives, serving other people through a local church. Another way that you can serve is pick out a couple of your favorite organizations in the community. Find something that you're truly passionate about. I'll tell you one that I'm super passionate about. It's called Victory Project. It's a Dayton, Ohio ministry. And basically, they take young men off the street, junior high and high school age, and they provide an after-school program every single day of the year. I think the only day of the year that they close is actually on Christmas. It is an amazing organization. So every other month, as a team, my work team, my counterparts here, we go down and we serve at Victory Project together. And I can tell you the relationships that I built over the years, not just with the kids. I love the kids so much. I'm so proud of them. It's like when I see a young man that would be destined for a life on the streets, that would be destined for a teenage pregnancy, getting a girl pregnant while still in high school or even in junior high, where these kids end up selling drugs or they get into gangs. I see these kids that are destined for that, but Victory Project changes their destiny. And so to see young men that have come out of this program and how much it's changed their lives just absolutely gets me fired up. But then I love the leadership of the organization. I truly love the leadership of the organization and their heart for the community. But I get to be a part of that when I go and serve. And it builds my relationship with my local community. I'll be honest. I talked about politics on the last one. I ain't going back to politics, ladies. No, but
Go ahead. Sounds great.
but on the last show, I talked about vote on yourself, and go back and listen to that. But let me tell you, this is personal opinion. I do not make political donations. And, maybe you didn't need to know this, but I'm just not a person that makes political donations. What I would rather sow my money into is I would rather sow my money into things that are truly having impact on the world around us. So I choose to sow my money into organizations like Victory Project, into my local church, right? Because I believe that that is what is truly going to have an impact on the world around us. That's what's going to change the world. Sowing into political election is here today, gone tomorrow. And it's not going to have a personal impact on the people in my community. And so I choose, this is me, you make your own decisions, but this is me. I choose to sow into things that I feel like truly matter and are going to have direct impact on people in my community. In this case, Victory Project is a great place for that. So develop a relationship with your community. So, okay, I've talked about the 5 core relationships: God, family, clients, counterparts, community. Now, let me review that God and family are always your first 2. But then you've got clients, counterparts, and community that might change. You might need to reorder those from time to time. There are things that need served during that certain time that you've got to focus on those relationships. So, wait, before you music me out, Natalie.
I've stopped.
Give me some thoughts here.
I was just messing with some stuff. No.
Oh, okay. Woo.
Yeah, don't worry. No, I love this layout because I think, for instance, I think a lot of people need to be reminded God and family do have to be the priority. God doesn't mean always like something that you do, but God means your relationship with him and what you're doing with the Lord and having that relationship, and then your relationship with your family.
Yep.
Everything else is just kind of like falling into place. And I really like how you said these 3 things can all kind of flow.
Yep.
You can, whatever season you're in, and just always knowing like, no, my clients aren't going to come above my family. No, my community is not going to come above my family. And I think a lot of times people experience that when they're like, I'm going out with these people. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do this. And then you neglect the kids at home,
right,
or your parents or your people that are your immediate family at the time. So I love this episode. I think it is something that everybody can use. I think whatever aspect of life you're in, this applies to you. Whatever your family is, you may not be married, but you have a family. Who's your family? It's just cool. I'm here for it.
Awesome. It's interesting that you say that in terms of, prioritizing other
Yeah.
people over your family.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I was young, married,
Mm-hmm.
I always say that I was a yes man. So it was like, hey, you want to go out with the guys?
Struggle.
Yes. You want to, go to the game this weekend? Yes. And like, you want to come do a project on a Saturday? Yes. Like I was always a yes
Yeah.
man, to the point where I totally neglected the most important relationship in my life at that time with Elizabeth. Elizabeth's my wife of 23 years.
Love her.
She is pretty amazing. I feel terrible a lot that I ever neglected her the way that I did young in our marriage. But because man, nowadays I value her so much. I love being with her, and so like I totally look forward to date nights. I totally just look forward to going home at night. Don't neglect your spouse, right? Don't be a yes man or a yes woman to other things that are not as important.
I'm here
All right,
for it.
so that's pretty much it.
Let's go.
Like that's
This was
it.
good.
There are 5 core relationships that you should have, and that's with God, your family, your clients, your counterparts, your community. Focus on the first 2 first. That's the most important. The rest will follow. But you need to focus on relationships and be a great relationship builder, and you will be successful. Thanks. Bye.